Hey guys, welcome to the Dad Chronicles, where we wear a hat, we look like a hobo, we sit in front of a car, and we just talk about random stuff and doing dad things. Actually, I'm kidding. Welcome to the life of P&K. I purchased another thing for the BMW, and actually I should have had it here. It's back there, so I have to go get it. You guys might see it on the videos. We're there. But I have to go get it. Let me show you what it is. So for the longest time, I wanted to get some type of mud flaps for the car, and there's many options online. A lot of them are on Amazon or eBay or so on online, and I don't know if they come from AliExpress, whatever. I ordered one set, it never arrived, so I had to get my money back. It took a while, but my favorite RokBlokz, you guys can see, my favorite RokBlokz, they actually finally designed one for our cars, the X3 M40i, and mine is a LCI model, so we'll see if these fit. They should. I got the basic in black, and they're supposed to be like a rally mud flaps, but I wanted to get something that's actually brought from a legit company, like a good company in the States, and I didn't have to wait for AliExpress orders or something direct from BMW, which is a little bit more expensive. So these were $130. They come in a packet of 4. At first when I looked at it, I was like, oh my god, they only sent me 2, but no, there's 4 in here. I don't know how well you can tell. And that's pretty much it. So, and also, before I forget, they give you all sorts of like bolts and bits to make it fit to your car. I don't think you have to drill anything, you just have to replace the OEM hardware. You have to tap it out. I'll show you how to do that. But overall, they give you everything that you need in this simple package right there. And then you guys might wonder, why do I need mud flaps for this car specifically? Because I don't take it off-roading, I don't do anything. This car, it's probably one of the first and only cars that have actually had the tires pick up a lot of debris and stuff like that and fling it at the paint. I've had a lot of issues where, especially here in Miami, like driving behind trucks and stuff like that, I've had a lot of issues where you pick up like some type of like a sticky black stuff like tar and pull the tar on the paint, and then I had to have the time to scrape it and clean it and use like all sorts of products just to have it come off the paint, and that took forever. It's a lot of work. And this is what I'm trying to avoid. In the front here, there's a lot of stuff that gets picked up. And these tires are nothing special. They're like all-season tires. So they shouldn't be that sticky to pick up that stuff. And then in the back here, the same thing. So especially with this now, you guys can watch the previous video. I put spacers on the car and it looks super flush right now. It looks perfect. And with this, it brought the tires 50 millimeters out. So now it's picking up even more stuff and it's flinging it on the paint, the back here. So I wanted to remove any of that stuff being flung at the paint. And the best way to do it is with mud flaps. Yes, it's an SUV. These are rally mud flaps. I'm not going to take it rallying, but I think these will look great. I've seen one picture online from a person that these were, I guess, test fitted on their car, and it looked really, really good. So I'm curious to see how it's going to look on my car. And also I wanted to show you guys how to put them on. It shouldn't be too bad. I'm going to try to turn the wheel to the left, and gives me more space. But basically you need to tap these bolts out, and there's one underneath. So you tap these two and replace it with the hardware they provide, and it should fit. And same thing on the rear. You tap this one, you remove, no, not sure how you guys can see. You remove this and you replace it, and that's it. It should fit. So it should be a pretty easy install. Again, there's a tight space here, so I have to get creative with the tools, especially here. Over there I can move the wheel. Here, not. It will be better if you can remove the wheel if you want to deal with it, and remove the wheels. It will give you a lot more space and make it a lot easier for you. But for me, this is what I'm going to try to do, so let's get working. So what you guys really need for this install, it should be very simple. You need a knife to cut the packaging, or you can just rip it if you're strong. You also need your famous 10mm socket. I could not find my short socket. I don't know where it's at. Comment down below if you guys lost your socket and where. Probably it's typically somewhere in the engine bay. So I got the long socket, which should be fine for this purpose. This is a small screwdriver. It's going to be used to tap these factory, I guess, rivets. So I'm going to use this to tap it with the hammer. Obviously, you guys are probably wondering why I'm going to use the hammer. So it's going to be for this because you have to push in the hardware, so you need a little bit, a little tap with the hammer. So the hardware actually falls inside, so you have to use whatever they provide for the mud flaps, which is kind of unfortunate, but maybe you can get it if you want to deal with it. And you're probably wondering where the 10mm socket would be or where it will go. It's this bolt right here. They use a bracket that will kind of hold the mud flap in place, that it's actually going to go in this bolt right here. So this is why you need the 10mm socket. You need this one here, and then there's one in the back as well. Hammer, small screwdriver, or a hole punch, is just up to you. And just tap these out. There you go. You just have to hit pretty hard. It just has, the hardware has to pop inside. I'll show you after this. So you actually really have to hit hard. The goal is to get this guy out, and you can see it's just like a little piece. Now you can use the trim piece and remove these. It should be pretty easy. There you go. One out. And then let's remove the second. Two out. And this is what it looks like. So you're just gonna replace this hardware with the hardware that the RokBlokz provided. And lastly, let's not forget the 10mm underneath. Obviously it looks better if you have power tools. I do not just yet. I'm thinking about getting one. But that's it. That's your 10mm. So you have to put the bracket. I'll show you. You have to put the bracket in here. So let's go ahead and unpack these. Careful with the knife. And remember, always cut away from you. So kind of like this way. Don't cut towards. You might hurt yourself. Once you have enough, just open it up. Take this away. Candy, as I said, for the energy you're going to waste putting the mud flaps on. And let's see what else they have. They gave us some stickers. I might use them, I might not. A little thank you letter saying please leave us a review. We'll see, I might do it. And there's also, this is cool actually, they have a QR code for installation and PDF actually if you want to get this. So it gives you instructions how to do it. But we don't care about this, we're going to do it ourselves. It's great to see that companies are actually doing something like this where, you know, they can do a QR code, especially with the digital world, and, you know, you just scan it on your camera and go straight to your instructions. So here we are. I believe these are the front ones. Why? Because they have an extra piece right here, and this is where we're going to have to put the extra hardware that's going to go underneath the car to that 10mm screw. These are the front, and these are going to be the rear. Pretty solid, good material. I think they're going to be great. So this one is obviously the passenger side. I need this one. Their logo is going to go backwards. So it's going to go, if you guys can see over there, it's going to go like this here. So I have to adjust it, make sure it fits. But before I do this, you guys remember I mentioned something about this little slot right here. We're going to open the hardware. It's good. They have two baggies with different bits. We're going to open this one. And you see we have this. And we have this. So what are these for? You have to, so let me see if I can get on the camera. You have to put them sort of like this. And this is because the 10mm is going to go underneath here, and it's going to make the front mud flaps tighter to the body. It doesn't matter. There's no order which one you use. It doesn't matter. They're the same piece, the same design. What I'm gonna do is actually, there's a little logo, so I want the little logo to face down. That's my personal preference. And you just put them in there. So now comes the hard part. Installing this, make sure it's aligned. I'm gonna use a leveler too on the bottom to make sure, you know, the mud flaps align, it's not off. And my leveler is actually pretty massive. So this will be good to use or figure out how to do. And also just notice, it's pretty cool, they put two different baggies. So here it says front, and here it says rear, so you know where they go. Guys, quick adjustment. What I'm gonna try to do is, because it's really hard to put in all the washers and everything, I'm gonna put the 10mm on the bottom first to give me some support, so I don't have to use both my hands to hold this and try to put in the other screws. And again, when you put this down, don't tighten it all the way. You want to be able to adjust and move this a little bit, but it gives you great support. So guys, small adjustment. I was hungry, that's why I'm still chewing. But I messed up as well. So what you have to do is actually take this insert and put it in here first. So this goes in here, you kind of tap it, you press it, and you take the second insert and you put it down here. So this basically replaces kind of like the position of the factory ones. You can't really tap it. This is very solid material, so you can't really tap it. So this is as best as you can. And then you put the mud flap, and then you use one washer. So I guess they put the extra 2 washers just in case you want to go that route. But ideally, you want to use one washer here, and then use this guy. Again, I'm using the 10mm for support to help me hold this in place. And I don't have power tools, so I'm going to use this guy. It's like a ratchet screwdriver. It might help me. I'm not sure how I'm going to fit this in the back because I can't swing the wheel, so we'll see. But grab a washer, grab a screw, put it in. And this actually creates a solid fit. Same thing on the bottom. And tighten it, but not all the way because you want to adjust. Okay, now at this point, grab your leveler and make sure everything's leveled. Make sure you position the mud flap where you want it as well. Looks good to me. And finish up tightening everything. So the 2 screws here and the bolt underneath. Pretty solid fit. It actually looks really good too. One quick idea I had is because this is sort of touching the paint on where it's fastened. If you have a film, like a protective film, you maybe can cut a piece and put it back here, so that way when it's touching the paint, it won't damage the paint. The film will be kind of like as a protective layer. So I might do this on the other side, but I want to show you how to do. The rear as well. But the front, this is pretty much it done. Again, 2 screws. Washer goes here. The fastener goes in the back. You remove the core, obviously, and then you have this little bracket. You have to connect it to the bottom, and this is it. It actually looks. From a distance, if you guys can see, it actually looks pretty good. Let me see if I can change the light a little bit. Yeah, you can't really tell on the camera. There we go. It actually looks nice. You can see it. I'll show you better. Once I put the 4 of them, I'll take the car out in the sun so you guys can see the difference. But let's do the back real quick. And this one will be a little bit more difficult because I have no way of actually getting like a 2 here will be really hard. Maybe I can pop this and the 10mm. So it's only 2 bolts here, so it's not too bad. But I have to do this. So let's get working. Yeah, guys, it's unfortunate, but for the rear, there's not enough space for the tools. You have to remove the wheel. So with the front, you can turn the steering wheel and it gives you enough space. With the rear, you actually have to remove the steering wheel to have access to this because I'm trying to, but because of the angle, you can't pop the core fully and it's damaging the fastener. I don't want to do that really, because this fastener, it's not going to be really reused, but I don't want to do that. So I'm going to need more space back here, so I have to jack up the wheel. So let me use the power of editing, do all this work, and I'll get back with the video once I have space to work here.
2,000 years later.
Okay, now that the wheel is off and we have more space to work, we can pop the core. Super easy, kind of like what we did previously. Hopefully I didn't damage it too much. Once it goes through, you can hear it fall. Use your plastic tool to remove the trim. Is that? And then your 10mm socket. Done. And for the rear, you have 2 fasteners. Don't forget to remove the core. I'll put it back in the baggie. And then the fasteners goes up here. There you go. And here you would just use your 10mm again. Actually, the rears are pretty easy to install. It's only 2 bolts, which is nicer than the front. The front is a little bit extra involved. But then on the rear, you have to remove the actual wheel. So either or, both of them they have their own like nuances on how to install them. But this one, again, it's overall pretty simple. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with a 10mm first. Again, don't fully tighten it, you have to adjust this a little bit. Grab your silver screw, grab your washer, put it on there, and it's gonna go up here, where the fastener was. Again, before you tighten it, make sure it's leveled. So this side, it's not very well leveled. I'm gonna adjust it a little bit. There we go, that's perfect. The bottom, perfect. So I'm happy with the spot where it's at. I'm just gonna tighten everything up. And here's the rear done. I like it. I think it looks good. I can't wait to show it to you guys when it's all done. So what's left for me? I have to put this wheel back on, lower the car, install the front, and install the rear on the other side too by raising the car and so on. So I've shown you how to do the rear. And the front here. So I'm going to do the remaining two, and then I'm going to take out the car in the sun so you guys can see better the final result of the mud flaps. So it's all complete. It's actually a lot more work than I was expecting initially. I thought I wouldn't have to remove the rear wheels or anything like that. The fronts are super simple to install, as you can tell. The rear one, you just don't have space to work, and that's why it's a little bit harder, a little bit extra work to install. But what do you guys think? I think they look great. And that's this side. I think they look amazing, to be honest. It makes it a little bit more sporty too. It fits the car, so if you drop it just a little bit and get different wheels, it's gonna look spot on. So let me take the car outside in the sun so you guys can see a little bit better what it looks like, because in the garage it's a little bit darker, so you can't really tell with the contrast. But I'll take it outside where there's a little bit more light so you guys can see, and I'll give you these final shots. And before these final shots, I just want to say overall, really good product, really easy to install. It's just like a little bit finicky. The front is a little bit different than the back. You have to make sure everything is aligned properly, but it works very well. They provided some extra hardware in case you need it, like extra washers. You maybe want to use the extra washers. I was good with the way I did it. But yeah, with that being said, a good product, thumbs up from me, and I'll leave you guys with these final shots. Take care.
Devil in a red dress, call 911.